Gopi Jana Bhava Hare Mahava Kunja Bihari Mahava Kunja Bihari Gopiyana Bala Ibad Hari Ashurananda Janaranjana Ashurananda Janaranjana Yamuna Tirava Chai Yamuna Tirava Dharan Mahava Javihari Dharan Mahava Kunjabihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare. Canto 3, Chapter 26, Text 17. Prakrite Gunasamyasya Nivisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yataha Saha Bhagavan Kalaha Iti Upalakshitaha. Prakrite Gunasamyasya Nivisheshasya Manasi Nivisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Ityupalakshitaha. Prakrite Gunasamyasya Nivisheshasya Manaspi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Ityupalakshitaha. Prakrite Gunasamyasya Nivisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Ityupalakshitaha.
Prakrite Gunasamyasya Nivisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Ityupalakshita.
Prakriti Guna Samyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Chista Yatha Sa Bhagavan Kala Iti Upalakshita.
Prakriti Guna Samyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Iti Upalakshita.
Prakriti Guna Samyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Ityupalakshita. Prakriti Guna Samyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Cheshta Yatasa Bhagavan Kala Ityupalakshita.
Prakrite Guna Samyasya Nirvisheshasya Manavi Chishtayata sa Bhagavan Kala ityupalakshitaha
Prakrite guna samyasya nirvisheshasya manavi chestayata sa bhagavan kala ityupalakshitaha.
Prakritir guna samyasya nirvisesasya manavi cheshtayata sa bhagavan kala iti upalakshitaha.
Prakritir guna samyasya nirvishesasya manavi chestayata sa bhagavan kala iti upalakshitaha.
Online, please stand.
Prakritir guna samyasya
Prakrite guna samyasya
nirvisheshasya manavi
nirvisheshasya manavi
nishtayata sa bhagavan
chestayata sa bhagavan
kala iti upalakshitaha.
kala ityupalakshitaha.
Samyasya
Guna samyasya
nirvisheshasya manavi
nirvisheshasya manavi
ishtayata sa bhagavan
chestayata sa bhagavan
kala ityupalakshitaha.
kala ityupalakshitaha.
Prakritir guna samyasya
Prakrite guna samyasya
nirvisheshasya manavi
nirvisheshasya manavi
cheshtayata sa bhagavan
chestayata sa bhagavan
kala ityupalakshitaha.
kala ityupalakshitaha.
Prakriti gunasamyasya
Prakrite guna samyasya
nirvashekasya manavi
nirvisheshasya manavi
Deshayata sa bhagavan
chestayata sa bhagavan
kala iti upalakshitaha.
kala ityupalakshitaha. Okay.
Prakriti of material nature. Gunasamyasya without interaction of the three modes. Nirvisheshasya without specific qualities. Manavi, O daughter of Manu. Cheshta, movement. Yataha, from whom? Saha, he. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kala, time. Iti, thus. Upalakshitaha is designated. Translation. My dear mother, O daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, time factor, as I have explained, is the Supreme Personality of God, from whom the creation begins as a result of the agitation of the neutral, unmanifested nature. Purport.
The unmanifested state of material nature, pradhan, is being explained. The Lord says that When the unmanifested material nature is agitated by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it begins to manifest itself in different ways. Before this agitation, it remains in the neutral state, without interaction by the three modes of material nature. In other words, material nature cannot produce any variety of manifestations without the contact of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the products of material nature. Without His contact, material nature cannot produce anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, also a very suitable example is given in this connection. Although the nipples on a goat's neck appear to be breast nipples, they do not give milk. Similarly, material nature appears to the material scientist to act and react in a wonderful manner, but in reality it cannot act without the agitator, time, who is the representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When time agitates the neutral state of material nature begins to produce varieties of manifestations. Ultimately, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of creation, as a woman cannot produce children unless impregnated by a man. Material nature cannot produce or manifest anything unless it is impregnated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of the time factor.
Explanation of how the creation and maintenance and destruction takes place in the material world. These things do not take place in the spiritual world because everything there is always manifest, always in its complete, full nature. Whereas in the material world, the living entities can either be allowed to act on a material platform or a spiritual platform or a neutral platform. But in the spiritual world, they're always active. We see that there are no entities here. Sometimes they're sleeping, sometimes they're awake, sometimes they're in hibernation. Different states of consciousness. Or maybe they're dead. They appear to be dead. And they have no manifest form even. That happens when Mahavishnu lies down. And he enters into his yoga nidra, his spiritual rest, transcendental sleep. When we go to sleep, it's not general transcendental, it's mundane. And then we think of material things, and we're working in the material plane. But when the Lord lies down for mystic slumber, he consorts. She's one of his energies. The Lord has so many energies. Shri Bhu is the energy of opulence, energy of Saraswati, intelligence, and Nidra is sleeping. So he has all these different energies. He consorts with them. We try to resort with them also. We use them, try to use them for sense gratification. But the materialists are so fond of sense gratification that when they sleep, they like to dream about sense gratification. is even more of that same. So they think it's a good opportunity if they can become very agitated when they're awake, so when they sleep they're also agitated. That's what happens. And the animals too, they're also trying to think of sense gratification. The animals and the plants and all the different species of the world all have one thing on their mind: sense gratification. But that's not the best thing. You could say that's a higher standard than the inanimate objects, stones and pieces of metal. They don't even have those kind of agitations. They're not even able to desire to enjoy sense gratification. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that higher than the sense objects is mind. Higher than mind is going up. There's the elements, higher than the elements, sense of tet. It's like they have objects of the senses, then you have senses, can perceive the objects of the senses. And then mind, intelligence, and then spirit. So higher than these, they go in higher states of consciousness. And the highest consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Because when one becomes absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and it's all spiritual. There's no material on the spiritual platform. Therefore, those who go back to Godhead, they have achieved the highest state. That's the state that we should be seeking. Otherwise, there's different other states. Anamaya, the state of just eating somehow or other. Their consciousness is eating. That's as high as it goes. And some have a little higher. They're thinking of themselves the body. And some have a higher consciousness. They have a mental platform. They like to think, feel, and will. And there's higher than that. They're on an intellectual platform. And then they can reach the spiritual platform, the early state, nirvishesha. That's described here in this verse. Nirvishesha means without variety. They're existing, but without differentiation. That's why people think that the goal is just to become one, to merge all their varieties into one homogeneous Brahman. But Lord Krishna said, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the source of the spiritual, of the Brahman. Brahman comes from Krishna. So therefore, the devotees of the Lord are on a higher stage. Three stages are Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. That's the three stages of the absolute truth. And the highest realization is the Bhagavan realization, because then one realizes the impersonal, or you could say the homogeneous aspect. It's like Brahman. Brahman has many different meanings. And sometimes it's described as being everything is Brahman. And or to have no varieties. That's why they want to merge. Some want to cease to exist. They think that if they can stop existing, they can stop miseries. They're a little more thoughtful than others, like animals. Animals not very intelligent. They can't imagine stopping to exist. It doesn't enter into their consciousness. But some philosophers, they do like that. And the Buddhists and the Mayavadis, they're trying to merge, give up their individuality, stop suffering, they think. One time, Prabhupada came to see us in Portland, and some elderly ladies wanted to see him. So I brought them in to see Prabhupada. And they said, I introduced him to him, and they said, we've been meditating for 25 years. I said, what do you gain by your meditation? They were willing to be quiet. I said, silent. I said, silent. I said, stones are silent for millions of years. It's not a really great accomplishment. So becoming silent is not the goal of life. The goal of life is to become fully activated, completely absorbed in loving service to Krishna. That's the goal. And without that, there are other stages. The stage of realization of super soul. That's realizing the Lord's localized feature. Anantarasta Paramanu Jayantarastam. He enters even into every atom. We see everything. It has some forms, all these forms and fragrances or sounds. They're all being manifest from the Lord himself. He's Rishikesh, master of all the senses. All the different elements come from him. As he describes in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumya Pumana Vayu Kamana Bhajiri Cha Ankara Tiyami Bina Prakatigastada. He has 5 gross elements that manifest through earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then the 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, pulse, ego. And then beyond that, there is another energy of his. Aparayamitastvanyam prakritim dudime param Shiva bhuta mahabaho yedam dharite jagat. His spiritual, the new entities of his spiritual are his superior energy. Or at least superior to the material energy. Aparayamitastvanyam means higher than that is the living entity, the soul. And we see that is not generally understood by humans. Animals can't understand it at all. Humans can understand it if they learn it, if they learn from a master. They can understand how these different energies work. And they can understand how to get out of the suffering condition. Nobody likes to suffer. Everybody's trying to avoid suffering. We see that there's all kinds of reports going on about the weather. Watch out for the suffering this way. Watch out for traffic suffering this way. Watch out for, there's some criminals around. Watch out. Wanted. Don't watch out for them. They'll cause you suffering. And there's just so many sufferings. And they're trying to get free from suffering. But it's not working. Big hospitals. Big hospitals. Now the biggest things you've passed are the big hospitals. Are very large because we're making a very strong effort to stop the suffering. But it doesn't work. Because this is the place of suffering. Abrahma bhuvana loka puna arjuna. Mamu pechi tu konteya punarjuna. This material from highest planet and the material world down to the lowest. All the places of suffering where repeated birth and death take place. When I heard that in Bhagavad Gita, I was really delighted to hear it. Because I thought it seemed like that. It seemed like there was suffering. That you couldn't stop it. And that's actually what Krishna says. You can't stop the suffering in the material world. But you can stop the suffering if you enter into the spiritual platform. If you act on the transcendental platform, then there'll be no more suffering. That's what we should learn, Bhakti Yoga. How to do that. How to act on the spiritual platform. So the Bhagavad Gita is the perfect text for explaining that in a very succinct way. How to get free from the suffering of the material world. And that means one should go back to home, back to Godhead. Samakarma chamedivyam himyo veti tatata. Taksadeham punarjanam naichkamrisu. If one can understand the transcendental nature of the Lord's appearance and activities, he does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again, but he returns back to home, back to Godhead. So therefore, it's about consciousness. That's why the movement is called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And everyone can become Krishna conscious. Even animals, yes. Even animals, even though it's generally not possible for them, if they get some extraordinary good association, then they can. For example, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing through the Jharkhand forest, he was so absorbed in love of Godhead, Krishna consciousness, that many of the animals that saw him, there were animals there in the forest, and they also became carried away with Krishna consciousness. And they began dancing and chanting and just having all kinds of ecstatic bliss. They weren't even worried about what they wanted to get to eat today, or what they were doing, how they were going to take care of their defense. They didn't worry about that. They were just so happy to be thinking of Krishna. And thinking of Krishna is the ultimate nature. Anandamaya Vyasa. That's the statue. That's the platform that we should all be striving for. And that is so much finer than anything else. It brings them such a happy state that he doesn't care about the miseries. There are miseries here in this world. How do you free from them? Well, we can't get free from them by anything material. It has to be spiritual. Because that's our nature. We're spiritual. We can't solve our problem with material solutions. That's why summit meetings, or how many elections we have, or how many revolutions, same suffering goes on. Same problems. Can't stop it. No matter how we try to stop the adibautikam miseries means miseries inflicted by other living beings. Still, our neighbors will make treacheries. No matter what we try to do, can't stop the suffering. There'll be bad aromas, there'll be dangerous. Adibautikam is inflicted by ourselves. Even if I'm living by myself, I'm not to some people around. Creatures. If I'm living in Hawaii, where everything's paradise, still there's miseries. I was in Hawaii, someone stole something. It's supposed to be a nice place. You go there and you're happy, but and then there's diseases, or just your mind is so disturbed. So that's not possible to defeat this by any method other than Krishna consciousness. That's why when Bhagavad was asked the question, is there a duty to get to the perfection? Yes. What is that? To become Krishna conscious. That's not sectarian. That doesn't mean you can be Krishna conscious if you're in India, or if you're wealthy, or if you're intelligent. Those considerations don't matter. You just have to be sincere to think of Krishna. And thinking of Krishna is not difficult. Because you can see the form of Krishna, you can hear the name of Krishna, and because he's absolute, all these features of his are the same thing. Become conscious of Krishna. You get to associate with Krishna. And you can experience the bliss of the spiritual world, even here in the material world. And then after you give up this body, then you go back to the spiritual world. That's a perfect solution for the problems of life. No charge. We don't charge anything for this information. Yet it's the highest education. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
Thank you for speaking, Maharaj. Hearing you speak about the Jharkhand forest and how carefree all the animals were, they weren't worried about eating material things. So I was thinking to myself as you're speaking, why am I not exhibiting those symptoms now? And is it? I guess the question is about setting ourselves in the right material atmosphere that's conducive for spiritual realization and advancement. How is it that something material can lead to something spiritual?
Well, you've done with it. They were associated with Lord, and we have Lord right here. We're associated with Lord, so we have every opportunity to do that. But it's possible that we might be more caught up in material things than the animals. Maybe lower than the animals. Because they don't break the laws of nature. They're certainly under the modes of material nature. But when they come in contact with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all that is transcendent law. But human beings, they may do things that are even more ghastly than animals. Animals eat what they're supposed to eat, what they're destined to eat. They don't cause suffering to others unnecessarily. But humans may do that. And it's stated that there's two types of envious creatures. One is a snake, and one is an envious human being. But of the two, there's cruelty. The most cruel is the cruel man, because nothing can tame him. Nothing can change his way. Whereas an animal, even an animal like a snake, you have these big pythons. If the master of the snake, master of the python, he knows how to make some music. And when he makes some music, then the python won't bite him. He's pacified. He's kind of a trance. So he can be charmed by the charming song. But an English human being, no matter how much charming music or what you try to give him, he'll bite. Even if you're not doing anything harmful to him. Even if you're just standing there, the snake will come and bite. But as we said, the envious human, he's even beyond that. Even if you give him everything, he'll bite the master who feeds him. At least animals, they can be charmed, they can be taught, they can be hypnotized in some way. They can be changed so that they won't kill the master, because they appreciate. Robert told the way it was found. The lion tamer, first of all, he brings the lion and he beats him. He beats him. And the lion is dead. He beats him till he's almost dead. And he stabs him. So the lion's realizing that this master, and sometimes now he realizes this is really my master. He can kill me, he can beat me, he can feed me. So I'll do what he says, I'll obey him. So then he obeys him. And the lion tamer, he even makes the lion open his mouth, and big mouth. He puts his head inside, and the lion doesn't jump down. Good. He could finish this man in a moment. But he doesn't do that because he's my master. He's tame. But an envious man doesn't do that. So therefore, the envious man is lower than man. That's answer your question. So at least we have to be as simple as the animals. Then we can become Krishna conscious easier. There was someone who was offensive to one of the devotees, very offensive, and he was required, he was given horrible disease, and he wanted to be cured from that disease. And Lord Chaitanya said, you'll have to suffer like that for a very long time, because you've committed offense to the Lord's devotee. So that's the thing, we have to be not engaged in activities that are offensive. So you have 10 offenses in chanting Hallelujah. First offense is not to practice, to learn, all of that, it makes it blocked. You can't make advancement that way.
So I understand that our faith is non-sectarian, and I was wondering, when we're preaching to people on the street and we have very limited time before they lose the attention, and some people say, yeah, I'm worshiping God already. Yeah, I've got that. What do we tell them in such a short window of time that can attract them to Krishna consciousness?
Well, that's why books are good, because they're all put together in a nice scientific way that, and someone has some intelligence, you understand it, and you can follow it. Usually that's the books that create such a revolution. Bhagavatam says, Srimad Bhagavatam creates a revolution in electric civilization. So these books are a revolution. They're just, why when Numa was going to Russia and Soviet Union, Soviet countries, where it was atheistic, what were they worried about the most? Books. Stop those Hare Krishna books. They devastate. They conquer over all the ignorance, the legends, the indication, Shunyamani, Paschatya Deshata. And Srila Prabhupada is empowered, Shaktavedanta Shavata, empowered to teach Krishna consciousness in from these books. That's why book distribution is so powerful. It's so helpful. So that's the best thing, giving books. If you can give them books and chanting too, teach them how to chant. It's good, more good. You can give them prasadam also, better. Best, take them home with you, take them back, temple, remove all the obstacles and say, well, I don't have a car, here we go. Come with us. Well, I have to. Yeah, so many things to do, but we can try to bring them. Or if they can't, if mountain doesn't come to, what is that saying? If you don't come, they don't come to you, you come to them. So we can go to their home sometime. You say, well, I realize you can't come now because you have other things to do. But if you like, we can come over and visit you sometime. And we can bring prasadam. There's unlimited ways to give Krishna consciousness. You can show them movies, entertaining movies, adventure. What's more interesting than Mahabharata? Mahabharata. Those of you who've heard or read Mahabharata, you can go out and hear it so many times. It's so interesting. Or you like philosophy. Where do you get philosophical teaching better than Achintya Beta Beta Tattva? Inconceivable, simultaneous oneness and difference. How do you defeat that philosophy? So whatever we're looking for, it's there in Krishna consciousness. Whether it's philosophy, art, music, friendship, camaraderie, whatever you want. And for enemies, you can also get enemies. Because you don't have to try to become Krishna conscious. Some people will be inimical to you. If you like to be a fighter, like Arjuna, Arjuna was so gentle. He used to be so gentle. They wouldn't fight anyone. Yeah, Jata Shatru was looking for. He used to. His enemy was never born. That's how gentle he was. He didn't think of anyone as him. But still, there were those who thought of him as him. And because he was a Kshatriya, he had to do that service for Krishna. And that's his perfection. So there's so many ways you can serve Krishna. Unlimited ways. You can do it by working in this field and that field, agricultural field, leadership, or just like we have agriculture, working, digging. If you like to work with arms and strength, so much service to do. If you like to use your artistic ability, so much service. You can try to attract them. The books are good because they have art and philosophy. They give some hints on all these things. They get a little taste. And if the devotee or the person who's studying literature is really trying his best, then Krishna will give him intelligence how to say words, how to use the words that attract him, the person, and he'll want to take the book. Thank you very much for my Bhagavad.